Welcome to Garden Wise Adventures. My name is Malie and it is getting dark. It's really late, but I wanted to do a veggie garden tour. Now this is the middle of June and I live in Utah zone 6/7. We've had a really cool spring and everything started off really slow, but now it's exploding in growth. So I wanted to give you an update on the tomatoes that I planted out early and covered and show you what everything else looks like. So this is going to be a quick tour. Maybe you'll be relieved. My last food forest tour was very long. So this will be a quick tour, and then maybe at the end I will harvest another day and add that to the end of this video just to show you what the harvest looked like. So let's get over to the tomatoes that I planted in April and covered in a hoop house and show you what they look like. Actually, before we go over to the south side of my house and look at the tomatoes, I wanted to show you my green stalks, and they are absolutely gorgeous. Now this is a mixture of edibles and ornamentals. We've got our little garden protector right there. She's very cute. So we have flowers. We have flowers for the hummingbirds on top, and just about are ready to see blooms on the chamomile. Chamomile is edible. We've got 3 different types of beans all throughout these green stalks, and the beans are some of the only vegetables other than my tomatoes. These are orange hat tomatoes that I grew inside over the winter and then just planted out in here, and they're looking fantastic. Lots of little tomatoes and buds. We also have some peppers that are fruiting. I'm not exactly sure which one this one is because I lost the label on all of them. So we have 3 peppers in this green stalk. All of them are no-name peppers. There's another one. We've got some gorgeous calendulas. I love the colors in the calendulas this year. We've got some purple opal basil, and that's about it, other than marigolds. We do have some marigolds. We're going to keep these dead-headed. But the marigolds are just beautiful. I think these green stalks turned out absolutely gorgeous. Now another thing that I'm experimenting with is right here. We have my little Adelaide Festival dwarf tomato. It's in a 2-gallon pot. I grew this indoors over the winter and harvested fruit off of it. And I wanted to see if it would continue growing if I brought it outside. And we've got tons of new little tomatoes on it. It's really healthy. This is a golden harvest tomato that I grew inside in a 1-gallon pot. And we're not repotting them. We're just keeping them fertilized and watered and seeing how well they do out here after growing indoors over the winter. Another one that I have out here is my Antohi pepper. It is starting to ripen. This was also one that I grew indoors and harvested off of. And I just wanted to see what I could grow on my deck for vegetables. And it looks like these things are going to do really well. Now these are my sweet potato slips. We'll show you the sweet potatoes that I've planted out in the garden. And I just left these in their pots and brought them outdoors and have been keeping them watered, and they keep resprouting, which is good because when the ones that I have in the garden beds die, you know, I've lost a few of them, then I just have replacements for them. So this is what they look like. Now this is the south side of my house, and these are the tomatoes that I planted out in early April. I just did not have room in my grow room to keep them anymore. These are all my paste tomatoes. And they are doing beautifully. And look at this. This is the middle of June, and we're going to have Amish paste tomatoes. Look at that. So all 3 in the front are Amish paste, and we're developing a lot of fruit that should ripen here in the next few weeks. And in the back, we have the San Marzano that I've always grown. Now this one for sure is a San Marzano, but this one I think I made a mistake and mislabeled it. Let me see if I can find the fruit on this one because it's definitely not a San Marzano. Let's see, where did it go? Yeah, we've got some cherry tomatoes here. Don't know if they're my sun sugar or my sun gold because I'm doing an experiment growing those that I think is going wrong also, but we are going to have some here. So we've got cherry tomatoes and paste tomatoes. Now these need a little bit more fertilizer. I'm going to be putting some blood meal out here for nitrogen, but these are my Lady Godiva pepitas. So they're pepita squash grown just for the seeds. They're getting a lot of good growth on them. We've got some flowers started. But as you can see, they are lacking nitrogen, so I am going to be putting some more blood meal out here shortly. This is an ancient, it's called the ancient watermelon. The story behind this is that there was an explorer that found a clay pot somewhere on a Navajo Pueblo, maybe it was a Pueblo ancient Indian site, and he found a sealed pot and found watermelon seeds in it and started growing them. And they grew with a neck on it, kind of like a crookneck squash. So he bred that neck out as much as possible, and now they have what they call the ancient watermelon. So I procured some seeds of that, planted them in here, and we're going to see how well they do. I've got 2 more on this side. And then over here we have 1 little orange watermelon. Now this is my lower garden area, and we just have several different beds with several different things in them. These are sunchokes or Jerusalem artichokes. This bed is a dedicated bed to them, meant to contain them, but I am continuously pulling them out from around the bottom. So Jerusalem artichokes will find their way down through a 17-inch tall bed that has wood chips at the bottom. I should have lined the bottom with weed mat or something, because they are finding their way out. This bed gets a little more shade than the rest of my beds, so in it I have some pink celery. I've been harvesting it. This one reverted to white, but this one stayed pink. This is a pink Chinese celery. It tastes a lot like celery, just a little bit stronger. It's really good, and they're growing beautifully. We've got carrots. Let me show you the little intruder that somehow got into my yard and mowed down my carrots. But the resident cat, neighborhood cat named Alien, I think he did his job and got rid of the rabbit, which it's sad to say, but the rabbit has not done any more damage since that day. It was a 1 day of damage. And this is where I put all my kale. So we've just got a bunch of kale, some Swiss chard, rogue lettuce, carrots, and celery. This is my new raised Veggie garden bed that has actual topsoil in it. And these are the tomatoes that I'm growing in it. And I also have a tomatillo. They're doing really well. These are my Jetstar tomatoes. At the end here we do have a Kentucky beefsteak and a Sun Gold. We're comparing Sun Gold and Sun Sugar to see which one is, how they're different. So we have the Sun Gold, Kentucky beefsteak, and then this is a new one that I got from a friend. And this is just called the Japanese black tomato. So this was a little tiny seedling when I got it, and when I planted it out, and now it's starting to put on some new growth, and we've even got some flowers on it. And even these vines were planted 3 weeks, they were planted at the end of May rather than mid-April, so it's about 6 weeks later than the paste tomatoes. We're still getting tomatoes on these. So I'm really excited. We're going to have an early tomato harvest. And this right here are my potatoes in straw bales. This is just an experiment. I had extra straw bales, wanted to see what potatoes would do on them. And look at the growth on these. And I thought I saw a flower bud somewhere. Maybe I didn't. I was pretty sure I saw a flower bud, but I'm not seeing it now, so I was probably wrong. But we're going to have a good harvest of potatoes that I'm going to give to my kids because I actually can't eat potatoes. We have another tomatillo that is flowering heavily. I have yet to see fruit on it, but we're definitely going to be seeing fruit here one of these days. The tomatillos are doing well. These are the Jetstar tomatoes. I think I mistakenly said these are Jetstar, but these are my Black Seaman. So Black Seaman tomatoes, which is a dark smoky flavored tomato, which is really good. And then my red slicer Jetstar, which is great for just about everything. I absolutely love these tomatoes. These are tomatoes that I will always have in my yard or in my garden. And we are getting tomatoes already on these also. We have bigger ones on the other side. Now this one right here was supposed to be my Sun Sugar. The one over in the other bed is a Sun Gold. This was supposed to be a Sun Sugar, but if you look at these, that's definitely not a Sun Sugar tomato. We've got a mislabeled seed packet or something. It'll be interesting to see what these turn out to be. We also have another little Adelaide Festival dwarf tomato that was grown inside, and I just stuck it in this bed, and it's doing quite well. We don't quite have fruit on it yet, but we are getting a lot of flowers, so we'll have fruit on it shortly. It seems to do better in the pot. This is my squash bed. We've got a crookneck squash there. This is a center cut squash and a Costa Romanesco. These were planted out just a few weeks ago, are doing really well. Now the smaller ones here are the butternut and the spaghetti. It's a lot of squash for one bed, but we're just going to see how it does, all squished together like that, and it can grow out and around the bed and into the planting beds out around it. This is my sweet potato bed. These are grown from sweet potatoes that I grew last year, and just about all of them are growing now. So I put a bunch in here. This one right here was one of the latest ones that I put in to replace one that died, and it's starting to come up. Then the last one that I put in is this one, and all the leaves fell off, but the stem is green, so I'm pretty sure that we're going to be pushing new leaves out of that one shortly. But they've been decimated by the grasshoppers, as have my flowers. We have a really bad grasshopper infestation, and we'll show you that. Now this right here, I'm really excited about. There's only 2 of them surviving, and this one is very much worse for wear because of the grasshoppers. But these are topaz melons. Now, these melons are also specialty melons. They were grown at Topaz Mountain by the Japanese people that were interned there during after World War II or during World War II. And these have been passed down from generation to generation, and I just happened to get the seeds. Now, my kid's father's family grew up here in Utah near Topaz Mountain, but they were not interned there. But I figured this is kind of a heritage plant for my kids. Now it's quickly getting dark, so we're going to try and hurry this up. But look at the kohlrabi down here. We're going to need to harvest all the kohlrabi. These are huge. This is called super schmeltz. And look at this one over here. Let's see if I can show it to you. Look at the size of that. That's my hand, and that's a kohlrabi. Now these are giant kohlrabis that stay tender even when they get big. And when I say tender, they are so good. They are not woody at all, except for down near the stem where all kohlrabi is woody. On this side, we have some cabbage. I think this is the early Jersey Wakefield that is just starting to head up. We've still got several weeks before that is ready, but we've got cabbage coming in. And now I've harvested a lot of this, but look at the color of that cauliflower. This bed had 12 cauliflower plants in it. I've harvested most of it. And let me show you a picture of what the white cauliflower and the yellow cauliflower look like. The yellow is cheddar. I think this is de purple. Here's another de purple. And then this is what happens to your cauliflower when you wait 3 weeks after it's ripe to do a video. I've been trying to get this video done for 3 weeks, and this cauliflower has gone to seed, and it's just no good anymore. But we have enough of it that I have some in the freezer actually. Now this one right here is supposed to be a green cauliflower, but it's got the weirdest color to it. It's really cool looking, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to actually call it a green cauliflower. It's going to be interesting when I pick it to see what it looks like. Now this is my pepper experiment right here, part of it. We planted a bunch of peppers in tubs, and I'll link a video up above to show you how we did it. It's automatically watered with my regular garden irrigation. And then we just have a ton of different pepper varieties, and some of them are actually starting to ripen. Now this is an unnamed pepper. It's another one where the tag fell out of it. And maybe I'll just do a separate pepper video, but I wanted to show you how well they're doing. We don't have peppers on every plant, but we've got flowers on every plant. My garlic is just about ready to harvest. What I'm going to do is quit watering this bed. I'm going to take these plants. Let me show you what I do with my foot. I'm going to do what's called lodging them. We're going to knock them over, and then in a week, we're going to harvest them. So I'll come through and do that probably tomorrow or the next day. But you can see how much of the leaves have died back. That means this garlic is ready to harvest. And it's going to be an excellent harvest. I mean, these stalks are really thick. Matter of fact, let's just do a sneak peek. Pull this one out and see what it looks like. So that's what it looks like. So that's what we're going to be getting out of this garden bed. We've got another bucket of peppers. As I said, we'll go through the names in a different video, but we've got peppers, and look at these. They're looking so good. Peppers. We've got onions in here. Another tomato that's being absolutely smothered. This was from a friend. This one is this is the chocolate cherry. So this is another cherry tomato that I need to get the onions out away from because it's just suffocating it. So it's not doing really well, but as soon as I get the onions out from around it, should do fine. And some of them are sizing up really nicely. We've got yellow, red, and white onions in here. The red are developing a little slower than the yellow and white. We've got more peppers. These are the chocolate cherry. And this is supposed to be a variegated pepper. Another pepper bed. This is where most of my hot peppers are. There's some sweet ones got in here. But that right there is a sugar rush peach. And look at all the peppers on that. We've got some collards here that we've got to harvest, and then we're going to tear the rest of them out because they're just aphid infested. I've been able to, they're smooth, big leaves, and washing the aphids off is pretty easy. We'll just put those in the freezer. We've got some purple cabbage that's trying to head up, but I'm not sure exactly what happened to these cabbages, but they got pretty elongated. And they're just heading up on the top of the stalk. And then this is an interesting one right here. This is a Chinese mountain yam that I planted 3 years ago in this bed and let it grow for 2 years, and I was going to harvest the roots of it. When I dug it out, there were no roots to it. And now I'm seeing why. It's because I didn't dig deep enough, and they came back with a vengeance. So I may have to empty out this bed and dig way down and see what the Chinese mountain yam roots look like and see if they're still edible after 3 years. We've got some grasshopper decimated beets, but they're actually starting to get some size to them a little bit. Well, no, okay, I take that back. They're starting to grow a little bit though. We've got some beets in here. They're doing better than they have in previous years. And my carrots are actually starting to grow. Let me see if I could show you this one over here. But I am actually going to get carrots probably for the first time ever. I usually get really tiny, weird carrots, but we're getting them this year. Now this tomato right here is from the same friend that gave me the chocolate cherry and the Japanese black. And this is called, let's see if I can, Carol Chico. Never tried this one before. We'll see how well it turns out. But we've got another tomato up here. So we've got some green onions here that we've been growing that are ready to harvest. And so many peas. I don't stake my peas like I should, but we've got a ton of peas, and we'll go over how many we get in the harvest video. Was going to do a harvest video tonight, but it's just too late. So my bowls will stay out here. We'll do a harvest later. Now the last things I wanted to show you are some unusual plants that I planted. This is the only one that came up and survived, but this is a parsnip that is getting some size to it. And then I also added some bulbing fennel in with the cauliflower bed. So we have of them right here. This is just a little area, kind of hard to see with all the flowers and everything. But there's 6 bulbing fennels in there that are heading up really nicely that should be harvested shortly. And then we have all my herbs that I allow to flower. The grasshoppers ate my zinnias, they ate my marigolds. I've got some bait that I'm going to be putting down to kill off the grasshoppers. But I allow dill and coriander and lettuce to reseed through here so that we can have flowers for the pollinators. We've got some chives that need to be cut back, some reseeded salvia. It seems like the stuff that seeds itself does the best. We also have one sunflower that I'm going to allow to flower and try to keep it deadheaded so that we don't have as many seeds. I pulled probably 300 sunflower seeds out of this area amongst the lettuce, and I don't like that many because they just run rampant, and I really don't want them taking over the garden. But one is really pretty. So that is the end of my garden tour. I'll have to do the harvest tour another day. It's around 9:30 at night, and as you can tell, it's getting really, really dark. So I'll do the harvest another day and add some pictures of that harvest to the end of this video. So hopefully you've enjoyed my video. If you have, I hope you like and subscribe. Share it with your friends and go have a wonderful garden adventure.